2023 National Farm Machinery Show. Farm Show is one of the biggest indoor farm machinery shows. It's probably the biggest in the United States, I would imagine. We come to this every year. It's a great opportunity to put your hands on equipment, see equipment. I know a lot of people say that, you know, social media and stuff like that is the way of the future. I still personally love coming to these things and actually seeing the equipment. I might not buy anything here, but it plants that seed in your mind. I think that's still very important. I'm starting to see a lot of companies pull back from big shows, and I think it might be a mistake, but I also understand it's extremely expensive for companies to come to these shows, so it does have to make financial sense for them too. But I love this show. This is probably my favorite show of the year. Where else are you going to find this much equipment from one manufacturer in this small of a space, where you can just get in it, you can see how you fit in it. You can't drive them here, but you can at least get in there and see how the machine feels like sitting in it. And typically you can talk to an engineer that works on this machine. One of the other great things about this show, for us anyways, is we've been coming to it long enough. We know several people at several of the companies, like Dr. Watson, our former Ag Leader salesman, who now works for Ag Leader. I'm here with Sean Meyer from AGCO Equipment. Sean, what is the purpose behind this Massey, what is it, 5S?
Yep.
145?
So this is our 5S series, as you can see by the design of the tractor. This tractor is really focused to be prioritized for your loader work. From the slope of the hood, you can see we have a very good slope on there. That way you can see what you're doing out in front of the tractor when you're loading bales or doing any of that loader work with you. Also in the whole tractor, really designed around visibility so that when you're out there loading, it makes it easy for you to see what you're doing and how to do it.
So frame size is, it's like we have a, what is our Massey? It's a global series, so it's, I'm guessing, a different series altogether?
Yes, so the global series is completely, it's a different series than this. They do overlap there though, because you got the 57 and 6700 global series. So you'll overlap horsepower a little bit with like the 67. They're very similar in frame size.
I'll say ours is only a 70 horse tractor, but and this one looks like it's 145, is that correct?
Yep.
But the frame doesn't look a whole lot bigger.
Yeah.
So is this kind of geared towards like maybe like hay equipment, or what's the?
Yeah. So this is, you can really get good with hay equipment. Like I said, it's really priority is for loader work. Okay. It's really designed for that loader application. With this over the global series though, in the cab, you do get some of your Datatronic 5 and some of your electronics. We can put auto guide on this tractor relative to the global series that you can't do a lot of that auto guide with.
Gotcha. So what's the highest horsepower this 5S goes to?
145 is what we got. So this is the biggest of the frame size.
So it looks like this one's pretty well decked out with weight, so I'm guessing you can customize this depending on what kind of application you're doing, be it loader work or PTO or 3-point work and whatnot.
So you can weight it obviously as you see, how you see fit for your job. Max gross weight is 20,900 pounds on it. So really you can weight it for whatever application you're doing. Obviously you can see we got the suitcases on the front of this one. So.
Is there an option to remove the blue cap, or is that kind of standard?
That's standard on tractors these days.
Oh man.
That's until you get to some of the smaller ones. Yeah. So.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking time to talk to us about it.
Hey, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The hood is very different, but man, you do have great visibility out of this machine. So really and truly, we could use a tractor about this size. We used to have a tractor, 120 horse case tractor. We got rid of it probably 15 years ago. Got a cat, got rid of it, and we haven't replaced it. And we don't use a tractor like this like we do the main tractors, but you'd probably still get around 100 hours a year doing various tasks, mostly bush hogging, probably running grain vac, stuff like that. But do you like the size of this machine? It's very nimble looking and great visibility. The hood looks a little different, but in practicality, it is very visible. Controls on this machine are very modern looking. This must be your joystick for your loader control. Yep, loader controls. And this looks very similar to what I would see in like a Fendt, really. Display here. Oh, they kept it to where we can't turn it on. Neat little tractor, but now we're going to mosey on. This is the size that Dad, well, very similar to the Massey Ferguson Dad mows with. He's got a 4707, same cab, same overall design. This is the Global Series.
Hi everyone.
Ones over there, the S Series, are a little bit fancier tractors.
Welcome to the
A little bit more modern looking, I think.
If you are interested in playing the Galena Trivia Game Show, please come and see myself or Aaron over here, and we will get you guys signed up.
I just got done with a meet and greet. We'll go find some lunch and keep looking around at the show.
I'm ready for some pizza.
Pizza. So we strip till on our farm. This is a strip till rig I had yet to see. It's different. Self-powered load auger. It looks like so you can dump out like a dump trailer right in there to fill it up. That's pretty neat. So I do like the way it folds. It's probably a little wide still. That's one thing I really like about the Underforth Raptor. It folds up pretty narrow, and we have a lot of tight roads, so we're able to really get around pretty easily with that unit. Although this one folds up, it's probably, I don't know. I guess it depends on what that's spaced. It might be 15 foot wide, I'd say. Another thing we're kind of in the market for at some point is a spray trailer. Check out a few different ones here. This would be about how we'd have one set up: tank on the front, tank on the back, and then plenty of room in the middle for totes and chemical. This one looks like it's much more purpose-built for chem, though. Usually they're just a flatbed trailer with totes stacked on them. This one looks like it's more purpose-built. So if you're new to the channel and haven't watched any of our videos, we run all ag leader guidance on all of our equipment. So this is something that really intrigues us. It's row-by-row shut-off on our sprayer. We run it through the ag leader model we already have. Save a lot of chemical. Get a more even application. Doesn't rely as much on pressures based on ground speeds. So definitely something we'll be looking into in the future. Go over to the John Deere booth. One thing that's really strange about the show this year, John Deere booth is being put on by a John Deere dealer and not John Deere themselves. The good thing about that is there's an actual combine on their lot for the first time in years. Always a crowded booth. Deere skid steer is something that I might be interested in the future. I said before, our skid steer is a leased cat machine. When that lease is up, we are going to possibly go a different route. And the guys that are building my house have been really impressed with their John Deere skid steer. I'll walk down here and go check out a JCB skid steer. That and the John Deere are kind of ones that I'm pretty interested in. Like when we do go to update that, that's something that'll be at least 6 months down the road. I think it's this year that machine comes off lease, but while they're here, when I got the chance, I'm gonna go check them out. So one thing that's nice about the JCB is you have a side entry instead of climbing through the front windshield. You also can get out while the bucket is up. That's pretty handy. Definitely like those attributes of it. The cab is a little bit bigger than the cat. Our cat cabs are not real big, and I'm a large individual, so I like this better. And then that teleboom, I do like. I like that. I like Ted. I was talking to Ted over. He's our salesman from American Equipment. He was pointing out, they have that single boom on that telehandler right there. No one questions its strength and rigidity. Why would that be any different on this skid steer? So I do think it is a strong boom. I think it's a strong machine. I know that's one thing people question on the JCBs. They have one boom instead of two. How can it be as strong as two? Well, there you go. Now, one thing, these only come in 74 horsepower. This is the biggest one they make. One nice thing about that is 74 horsepower, but has just as much torque as a machine with 95 horsepower, and has no emissions. So that is nice, because emission requirements are anything over 75 horsepower. But yeah, I really like that skid steer. I think that would be a really, really nice unit. But I'll also say I'm really impressed with that John Deere. I believe the ones they have, the one that the builder has is a 331. So walking around, I came over to the K building booth. This is the same kind of building that we are putting up. Obviously a little bit bigger than this, a little bit bigger to scale, but this is the company that manufactures the building. This is the style of building it is. It is a hybrid building where we've got steel trusses with wood. Are these the purlings? Or
Wood purlins, wood birch.
And this is Diverse Building Solutions of Ryan. This is the guy we've been working with on pricing our building, getting our building bought, and the people that are putting the building up. So the $1 million question is, almost quite literally, is when's the building getting there?
So the building goes into production in the end of February.
Okay.
Towards the end of February. And we're going into production. We start layout tomorrow.
Okay.
And get started on the foundation.
So with that project, how long is the site prep for it? I mean, as far as like when you're saying layout, then there's probably footers and piers after that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from that point forward, how like does that have to settle for a while before the building can go on it? Or?
So we'll have a couple of weeks in doing your foundation,
Okay.
getting it in.
And then when the building goes into production, is that how long of a process is that?
On that building, you're probably going to be 3 weeks.
Okay.
I would say before that's ready to go.
And that's just the trusses and the posts themselves, right?
Lean-to, the lofts, you got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah, but that's not like the metal skin though, right?
No.
Okay.
All of that, you're getting that, and that'll probably be coming in right at the time the
Come in
building
at the same
delivers.
time the building delivers.
Okay. So things are going to start getting busy here pretty soon.
Real soon.
Yeah. So if you're not following us on the channel and you want to know more about that, go ahead and hit subscribe because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and we're pretty excited for it. So it should be a pretty interesting project to follow on with. If someone was interested in a K building, what's the best way for them to find a place to purchase one of those?
Go online, kbuildings.com, and there's a request a quote feature on there, as well as a bunch of building information and a listing of all the dealers in the state by state kind of way.
Okay. How many states are you guys in? 10 states. So I know that one of the things that really drew us to this building was going 100 foot wide with the steel truss. That was that and the arch ceilings. I don't think people realize how nice that is until they get into a building with arch ceilings. So that is something we would like to add to the fleet. Now that we've got those two Peterbilts, we've really been contemplating on selling our big purple dump truck and getting one of those. Thinking about selling that, and hopefully we can get enough money to buy a decent quality dump trailer and maybe trade a Tempe for a newer Tempe, and then we'd have a pretty good set of trailers. In order to do a podcast right now, going to the Farm for Profit podcast. If you haven't never heard of them, check that podcast out. A lot of cool guests, a lot of interesting stuff. Doing a podcast with them, and they're going to be on our podcast. So if you don't know, we have a podcast called the Working Words Podcast. Check that out. I think I've done 6 podcasts while we've been here, so there'll be several of them from here. So one thing that caught my eye at the farm show was the Ideal Combine. I noticed the auger's bigger, so that had me asking some questions, and then I bumped into my friend Stuart Maxwell. Stuart, what all we got going on here? I've noticed the auger is no longer flat.
Yes, yeah, we've done a few changes as we're always improving the Ideal Combine. I mean, every year we're doing some more updates, you know, not necessarily as per customer request, but we're trying to improve the overall product itself. Yes, the unloading auger is a great change on it. Increase of well over 2 feet in height, but also longer. It's over 36 feet long now.
So is that geared towards bigger heads in the future then?
Bigger heads in the future, yes. Of course, we still have the Streamer 6, the 6 bushel a second unload rate and everything else. Some of the other updates that we've done, there's been some changes in the cab as far as the real estate goes, adding some more storage compartments and USB ports and power outlets for the customers with all the many widgets and tools that they have.
So as far as the internals of the machine though, nothing's really changing rotor diameter wise or rotor length or shoe amount?
No changes on that yet. Could be some big things coming down the road, but that's way down the road.
Okay.
I mean, it has been performing very, very well.
I noticed this one had the Ideal Drive. Is that what it's called, where there's no steering wheel?
Yes, the Ideal Drive is becoming a big hit. I think in a very short period of time, you'll probably find that more than likely 80% of the combine sold with Fendt will be Ideal Drive. Of course, that's taking and removing the steering wheel out of it, and you're running a joystick to operate the unit in the field. Opens up the visibility of the unit, and what I found, I mean, within 20 minutes, you're just so comfortable running this thing without that steering wheel.
So is the Ideal Drive, is that system available in all the Fendt line, or is it just in the 10s?
Just in the Fendt Ideal Combines right now.
I mean, just in the 10T model? Or?
No, any of the track units.
Any track unit, okay.
Currently, it will probably migrate eventually down to the wheel units as well.
So we're sitting in the new Fendt cab. So if you look behind me, there's little storage compartments back here. Those must have went off patent from Case or something.
Ain't much difference.
Well, there's no steering wheel, Dad.
Well, yeah, big difference. That'd be neat.
Yeah, so this is really neat technology. I know it may seem weird to not have a steering wheel, but if you look at a lot of pieces of construction equipment, none of them have steering wheels. Front end loaders, a lot of modern front end loaders run on a joystick. Everyone I've talked to that's ran this said that it took a little while to get used to, but they really liked it once they got used to it. So other than that, the cab isn't much different. It is a little bit bigger, front and back, and you obviously have excellent visibility. Hop out of here, because this is a bump and booth, and there's a line to get in here, but I think this is an actual fridge now too, and not a cooler. So one thing that really caught my eye earlier, I have a Mahindra rock saw, big fan of Mahindra rock saws, and they have one over here, and it's got some accessories on it, so we gotta go check that out. So this is a wrap on this machine. So for the last couple of years, you only been able to get a rock saw in black or red. So that was intriguing. Still one of my all-time favorite combines, Claas Lexion. So for those of you that don't know, we are upgrading some stuff on our grain setup this year. One of the things is a dryer and air system. So Dane, our salesman here, was telling me this is very similar to the air system that we will be getting. This is the blower.
Yes, this is blower pack here and the airlock package. This control box unit here will be mounted inside your...
Is that the thing you were saying only uses as much air as it needs?
Correct. It monitors the air and it adjusts the frequency on the blower motor so that it's only turned at necessary RPMs.
Does that make it easier on the grain? Or
it's better on grain quality and also on the wear items of your air system, typically the piping and the elbows, and also power consumption. So
instead of using all, was it a 40 horse motor?
Yes, right.
Instead of using all 40, we might be using 30 horse.
Correct, yep. Okay. So it limits the power draw, only needed to use what is needed.
So yeah, especially when we're drying like 25% corn, we're definitely not going to be pushing the bushels an hour through that system, so we don't need all the capacity.
Exactly, yep.
Plus we got a nice glitter finish on it. I mean, sold me at that. So during harvest videos, people ask about the software system we use in the grain cart BJ's always playing on. Here it is, pipe bag. Yeah, for the first couple days, like you said. Then it'd be so corroded it wouldn't move.
62.
Let me see your finger. These guys are from England.
Fancy. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be on YouTube, you like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Perfect. There we go.
Yeah. Are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Whether it's bad or a single axle and we lose the topsoil, in the winter storms and stuff. So that one's an old one.
We've upgraded cameras. This one's like professional.
Where do I? Am I in the frame over here?
I think that flips up on the back. Oh, look at that. There we go.
Well, you didn't tell me I looked this good all day. Wow.
The other way. So you did that.
So I got on that, showed me around, and we can.
I'm gonna get this guy into the happy hour here. See how it goes.
How are we doing, Chad?
Brody, are you ready to network?
I am.
We're networking right now.
Am I still? Is it even on this time? Because I can't tell.
Yeah, it's on. Here we go. We're not used to the camera. There we go.
Hey, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Where's Brian? Let's zoom in on Brian. There he is, right by Douglas.
He wants an autograph.
There we go. There we go, Brian. You want an autograph from Brian? Gene's been signing autographs.
Are you serious?
Oh, one. So this year at the Farm Machinery Show, I noticed that there was a different color of green on the underfoot booth. So Andy, do you mind telling us a little bit about what we got going on here?
Yeah, sure. This is the Orthman One Tripper. Orthman is a recent acquisition for underfoot manufacturing. Just announced on February 1st of 2023. And we're excited about the product line. It also came with 2 manufacturing facilities in Lexington, Nebraska, and all the employees came on board as well. So we're excited about the brand and the product line and bringing it in under the Underfoot umbrella. It's now our 7th brand that we have through recent acquisitions throughout the years. So Orthman markets strip tillage is a big part of their product lineup. They also have stalk pullers, row crop cultivators, track tillers, and some other tillage and fertilizer application products.
Awesome. Was it's really neat seeing a family-owned business expanding in the ag world. This is a great company, and if you guys haven't stopped by their booth, stop by your local Underfoot dealer and check out their products. Good quality stuff.
So we use a gear type flow meter to measure our bulk chemicals, and these are the pair of the gears out of the meter, and so the tolerance is really tight in this meter so that it's accurate. So it measures by volume, and you don't have to recalibrate or calibrate for different chemicals. Then we connect totes to these valves, and you can have as many as you need. So if you need 3 or 20 or whatever, we can do that. So we'll run the chemical through, and the top one's for water. So that's going to rinse after each chemical, and likewise when you're done, it will rinse that manifold out and be water only at the end. So let's run a demo and you can see how that works. So you can tell it I want so many gallons or I want so many acres worth. In this case we're going to do 250 gallons at 5 gallons per acre. So we're going to make a 50-acre load here. So I'll hit go here, and when you're in a stationary plant we can control electric pumps. So we'll start these pumps up. We're going to start pumping water here, and we're pumping our first bulk chemical. You can see that one's just starting to go here, and that's coming through this valve. So we're pre-filling the inductor for this dry flowable product. So we would pour this in. When we get this orange bar graph, that's my prompt to do something in the inductor, or this orange block. And so it's calling for the in-light at 7.81 pounds. So when it gives me that orange block again, it's ready to go. And then I'm just going to start pouring that. I'll watch my numbers personally, mostly, but the bar graph's kind of a coarse measurement. And my target's 7.81. I never do it that well.
Good.
I hit next, and so that's going to drain and rinse. So there's my bar graph. It's ready to go. So it drains it. It's weighing. As soon as it captures that weight, it turns to rinse. And it's using air and water to rinse. It makes it a lot more effective. You can hear how loud it is. While it's rinsing, it's also draining the inductor, so that never fills up. So we got 1.91 gallons out of that jug, and then we'll just pour the balance in here. You can see that other bar graph is that other bulk moving right with it. So we've got the resolution, accuracy. You can get away from using a measuring pitcher. I've got one more one more jug to pour. Our bulks are in. We've got that much water left. And so when I get the orange block, we'll get that last one in. Right, your 3-inch pump's going to pull all your chemicals and water, and then you typically will have, most guys on a mobile, they'll use a 2-inch pump for this rinse. So that does need pressurized rinse. So the other big thing is record keeping, and I'm just going to stop that early. And let's look at, we'll just do a quick report here. We've got a lot of different ways we can filter data, and from our cloud service, which this syncs with the cloud, you can filter other ways as well. But I'm going to do today, and I've done 2 batches today, so there's the total of the 2 batches, total of the products. And then I've got a blend record for each batch that I do, and it shows target and actual quantities of the products in the mix, and along with a timestamp and latitude and longitude of where the mixing happened.
If anyone's interested in these, do you guys have a dealer? Do you have a dealer network?
We do. We have a dealer network, and pretty well cover the country. Some of them were scattered a little bit far, and some of the, California and Texas, very southern edge of Texas. We don't have a dealer real close, but we have ways of getting taken care of all over. So.
Gotcha. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of new things going on at the Deere booth other than this planter. It's a splitter 8-row planter. Looks like it's kind of designed for a smaller, older tractor. I'm guessing it's a lower hydraulic flow unit, but still pretty cool that they make new machinery, you know, this size, and obviously there's a place in the market for it. So one thing that's really neat about that, actually, I didn't realize, you can still get a finger pickup planter. You can make this as plain as you want and as simple as you want. So Dad always threatens to buy an old 7200 corn planter and his 4430 and go plant. So he could get one of these, I guess, but same concept, wouldn't you say?
Yep.
You scouting, are you?
No.
John Deere salesman, scouting out competition. Dad, seeing a red planter brings back flashbacks, and they're not pleasant ones.
Hey, I've been down that road too.
It's bar me. I didn't run the damn thing.
I think we're farm showed out. Are you farm showed out?
I'm time to go home and get to work.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be near as hard to get back to work.
So we came here, it was 70 degrees, now it's snowing. Thanks everybody for watching. If you would, do us a favor and like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next video.